Oh, hi.
Hey, house guests. Welcome to today's Big Brother Canada Digital Daily Update.
Sorry, we're a little late today.
Yeah, well, we had a
This is
lot to get through today.
Juicy, big-butted digital daily.
It was like those extra large Tide Pods that you got.
Yeah, super juicy,
The
baby.
juicy. All right, so our house guests of the day are Flower Power Resists and Christine Caruso.
Wonderful.
Thank you both so
Thank
much for the
you.
support. We could not do this without you, and we appreciate it so much. So thank you again. And if you guys want to be house guests of the day, check out our Patreon link in the info box below.
Down there.
Yes. So when we left off the other day, Ty is the HOH, and it seemed like he was planning. That's a clean sock, by the way.
It is very clean.
It seemed like he was planning on putting up Santina and Renee. He had a very frustrating to watch discussion with Santina. They were both bad at communicating. They were both lying to each other, so it was very tedious.
Fake tears.
We suspect. But we're wondering, like, is Ty's plan going to get messed up? Because it seemed very likely that Santina would win the Bel Air Direct safety vote this week.
Thank you, Canada.
I can confirm, yes, his plans did get messed up. We'll talk about it. So let's dive into today's Digital Daily.
Go for it.
It's covering yesterday, day 37 in the house.
Easter.
And I have to say, happy Easter to everybody who celebrates. I don't think there was any mention of it in today's Digital Daily. I didn't hear anything. I don't think they even realized it was Easter.
How is that possible?
I mean, I guess they just forgot. I don't know. I'm surprised they didn't have like a little party, or maybe they did and we just didn't.
How could they forget about Jesus?
So anyway, we find out eventually that Santina won the safety vote.
Yes.
Ty put up Hope and Renee since he couldn't put up Santina.
What?
And we'll have more details on that. And Shanaya won the power of Veto. Oh my God.
Expected. There's a lot to unpack here.
There is a lot to unpack here, and we will do that as we go along. But just take that all in. Woo! All right. So Jonathan and Kuzi had a quick chat in the storage room.
It's a big glass of juice.
Yeah. Again, I say it every time. I love these two working together. I'm so excited for it. And I love listening to them talk game.
Yes.
So they're really hoping that they can convince Shanaya to leave the nominations the same, because everybody,
what?
I know, right? Everybody is suspecting that Shanaya will be saving Renee.
I mean,
with the veto.
Right?
Tight. I wouldn't say they're as tight as Shanaya and Claudia, but they're still pretty tight.
Team Girl Squad.
Yeah. So
although they were ready to vote her out last week.
I know. But the Crown does not want this veto used because they're pretty nervous that Jonathan could
Two crowns will go up at the same time, and then they'll have to get rid of one of them.
Somebody's going to have to go. It doesn't matter if they've got numbers. They don't have numbers now. So they're nervous that Jonathan could be going up. So they have this strategy when they talk to Shanaya. They want to play it off like Hope would be the one to go if nominations stay the same. But, like, obviously, they're going to keep their boy and vote out Renee. Do we think this strategy would actually work to convince Shanaya not to use the veto?
No.
Probably not, right? Probably not, but you never know. We'll see. All right. So then we have Claudia and Shanaya chatting in the Circle K room. And
this was absolutely ridiculous.
This conversation was interesting, though. We heard and learned a lot here.
We did.
So Claudia's like, all right, honestly, if you asked me last week, my priorities in this game, the people that I really wanted to keep safe were Ty, Daniel, and Shanaya. Since when are Claudia and Daniel so close?
Yeah, really.
I don't think that Claudia is as high on Daniel's list as he is on hers.
I don't think Claudia is on Daniel's list.
Yeah, not really, right? But Claudia says she's having a dilemma right now. Her priorities are changing. She wants Hope out this week out of Hope and Renee. Ty does not. Ty wants Renee to go.
Oh, no.
So Claudia's like, what do I do? Do I do what Ty wants, or do I do what I want? Claudia, I think you know the answer to that. So she really is not liking the way that Ty tells her what to do. She's had issues with him in the past. She ignored it for a while and came back to him.
Tell me what to do.
Exactly. You don't own her.
Yep.
But she feels like he's putting her in a really uncomfortable position at this point and trying to, like, force her to pick a side. either working with him or working with her girls. So she doesn't like that. So Claudia,
I mean, it's part of the game.
yeah, Claudia's like, all right. I have to say though, this is unusual. You usually see the showmances actually like work together.
But this isn't a true showmance. This is a used
This
mance.
is a mess. So
mess mance.
yeah, Claudia is trying to come up with a plan. Like, okay, say we do go against Ty's wishes. Shanaya uses the veto on Renee.
Mm-hmm.
We vote out Hope.
Right.
Claudia's like, what if we get together a new group with Claudia, Shanaya, Renee, so Teen Girl Squad.
Girl Squad.
Pull in Daniel, pull in Jonathan, and pull in Santina?
Who's left?
Good luck getting all these people. So she says it would be everyone against Ty, Kuzi, and Anika. Oh my God. Because they're like, okay, obviously those three are working together, so we need to go against them.
Uh-huh.
Oh. So Shanaya says, listen, I'm telling you right now, I'm using that POV this week.
Oh.
I'm not going to bend over and do what he wants. I feel like she's mixing a few different phrases there, and it's coming out a little dirty.
It is.
But Shanaya says it doesn't make sense for me to keep Renee on the block. She's one of my besties in here. I'm not going to leave her up there.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a flip side to this, though, because
Right.
as much as Shanaya is besties with Renee, apparently Ty is threatening to put Claudia up on the block as a replacement.
When I heard this,
if the POV is used,
my heart did a dance like it's never danced before.
Because this is insane.
I know.
I wish we had seen the conversation between Ty and Claudia when he tells her this, because there was a conversation about it, and apparently Ty was like storming out of rooms and all pissed.
But we didn't see that because they don't cover Saturdays.
Plus, I just don't know that we would get to see something fun like that. Like, there are conversations that we just don't get to see on these dailies, and they save them for the show.
Were there F-bombs dropped?
Probably, I'm sure. I mean, these people drop F-bombs casually.
Yeah,
so, like, not, whatever. But, Claudia is like, if Ty actually puts me up on the block, I'm going to go nuts in this house. I'm going to blow up his game.
I mean, I think everybody knows what his game is.
I would love to see it. Yeah, right? So Shanaya is saying, like, worst case scenario, you do go up on the block. I think we can get the votes to keep you. I don't think so. But she's like, everybody is going to be so disgusted at Ty's move to put you up. Like, they're definitely going to want to keep you. Hello, there's other alliances going on here. People are not going to keep Claudia over Hope when Hope is in the crown, but they don't know about the crown.
These two donut holes, when they were going through their punch list of who, oh, this is what we're going to do next week, and then there's going to be a triple, and in the triple, it's going to go down like this, and I'm going to get Ty out. I'm afraid to, but I'll do it.
I mean, Shanaya did win this competition. It's not like they can't win anything.
Yeah, but the way that they were talking with such certitude.
Well, they were trying to like strategize. What are we gonna do if it's a double? What do we do if it's a triple? Which, like, how would they be doing that when so many people have left already?
Why don't you just exactly? But like, why don't you just try and get through next week?
Yeah, but I mean, it is good to plan, and they have all the time in the world. So why not? I get it, but it is funny to hear them plan some of these things.
Yeah, but like no thought to like getting tripped up like the crown.
Yeah, I mean, you can only plan for what you know, right?
Should have kept Dan.
Well, anyway, Shanaya is planning on talking to Ty about the veto situation, and Claudia is telling her, listen, when you talk to Ty, stick to your guns. I can't play with Ty anymore if he's gonna be like this, if he's gonna like give me ultimatums and stuff. So yeah, right. So then Renee joins them, and
I can't play with Ty anymore. I had my fingers crossed.
Yeah,
I can still do it.
Renee reveals a very important piece of information here.
Okay.
She shares that Hope is on the block this week because he offered to go up. Did I call this or what?
You certainly did.
It's another situation, thank you, where the HOH is planning on putting somebody up, and then, whoa, that person's safe. They can't do it.
Right.
So Hope is like, yeah, I'll go up because he's so confident that he's going to win the veto.
He's a cocky.
Well, it didn't happen this time. So Renee tells the girls, Kuzi wants to talk to me. She's been asking me to talk. So they're like, yeah, talk to her. But they advise her, be very careful because they know that Kuzi is close to Ty. What they don't realize is that Kuzi is like placating him at this point.
Right.
Kuzi wants Ty to go, but they don't know that. So they're like, don't say anything, important to Kuzi.
Don't say anything.
Don't say anything that you don't want getting back to Ty, because there is a chance that could happen.
Of course, it could happen with anybody.
Yeah. So Renee is pissed at this point because she feels that she is Ty's target this week.
I'm so pissed.
Yeah. And I mean, she is Ty's target at this point, which is insane.
I'm not going home.
So then they're talking about targeting Ty next week because he keeps saying, like, if that veto is used, it's going to draw a line in the sand. He's basically saying, like, I'm going to be on the other side of you guys. Like, I'm going to be coming after you. So even Claudia is like, yeah, I would target Ty for sure.
For sure, maybe.
You won't see.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Shanaya says she just hopes when Ty watches this show back that he will reflect on the way he talks to people.
When you watch this show back, Shanaya, I hope you reflect on how shit your game was.
Ooh! I mean, I'm hoping she's going to step it up here. But yeah, Ty, I just feel like is the type of person that is not going to learn from this experience necessarily. Yeah. So also the girls are talking about how they feel like Ty is basically afraid of Kuzi because they feel that she is much more likely to turn on him than like they are. And yet he is protecting her. And then he's putting these girls up on the block. So they feel like Kuzi would really turn on him without batting an eye.
Let's get Kuzi to do it.
Which is kind of contradictory to what they were saying earlier, thinking that
they were going against her.
I don't know, whatever. But yeah, they're just like you said, planning out for a double eviction, triple eviction, regular eviction, whatever.
Over the place.
And they are drooling at the thought of Hope potentially leaving this week and then Ty leaving the week after. But they don't know about the crown. Ooh. There's some stuff going on there. But for this week, their plan is to lay low until after the POV ceremony.
Lay low and do nothing.
Well, they're worried that if they do too much, that Ty is going to put Claudia up as the replacement. So they're going to see what happens with the veto ceremony and then regroup after that and figure out their plan of action.
Oh, okay. Then they can say more delusional things after that.
All right. So then we have Hope and Daniel chatting in the library. And Hope is like, all right, I just talked to Ty. And Ty told me if Shanaya uses the veto, he's going to put up Jonathan in Renee's place. Oh, no, this is not good. I just had this feeling earlier this week when Ty was telling Jonathan, like, kick up your feet. Like, I'm never putting you up on the block.
You know what I'm thinking?
I was getting Marty vibes there.
I'm thinking we really don't know who Ty is going to be putting up.
We don't.
Because I feel like he's very smart in his strategy when he talks to people and he trips them up. But he's also adapting to his conversation to each different group. He knows that if he says that he's going to put Jonathan up, if Shanaya uses the veto to Shanaya, she doesn't care about Jonathan.
I mean, she does.
But she's
not as much as Claudia.
So in order to push her buttons, he says that he's going to put Claudia up. Daniel and Hope, if the veto's used, I'm going to put up somebody close to you, Jonathan. I wonder if he's telling other people other things to try and get them to put pressure on Shanaya.
They want to put pressure on Shanaya to leave the nominations the same.
Right. Sure. So I feel like he is giving everybody a different,
I mean, that's
so
definitely...
that they will go and put pressure on...
Yeah. I mean, he's not a dummy.
Right.
He's a jerk, but he's not dumb.
Right. Exactly.
So, yeah, Hope is freaking out because if Jonathan goes up there, that's his best bud up on the block next to him. One of them is going to have to go. So Hope is really regretting volunteering to go on the block at this point. Duh. You shouldn't have been doing that.
Also, right about now, these asshats that took Ty off the block last week, I told you it would come back to bite you.
I mean, it doesn't directly matter in that Dan was the target anyway. Their mistake was targeting Dan over Ty.
Right.
Not necessarily the veto.
But yeah, they should have used the veto on Dan instead of Ty.
Or just not at all and voted out Ty.
True.
But they were so set on voting out Dan. So
we can get Ty next week.
Yeah. So Daniel does not think that Ty would put Jonathan up on the block. He feels like he's just kind of bluffing. And Hope is like, I don't know. I just know I really want to stay now. Like, I don't want to quit anymore. I want to stay.
Dude, you never really did want to quit, did you?
I think you might have at some point. I think part of that was real.
I mean, part of it was not, too.
Yeah. Well, Daniel's telling Hope, listen, Jonathan's not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. We are going to convince Shanaya to leave the nominations the same.
No.
You are very confident in that, sir.
That's almost as delusional as Teen Girl Squad talks.
Well, I guess he's just trying to manifest it because he knows if another member of the Crown goes up, they're screwed. One of them's going to have to go.
And it's probably going to be Hope.
I would assume Hope
I would say
go.
Hope.
Yeah. If it was Hope versus Jonathan.
Yeah, because I think Teen Girl Squad would vote to keep Jonathan.
I think Jonathan is actually the bigger threat to win this whole thing.
But Jonathan is probably better.
He has much better connections with people.
But he's probably better to take out Ty.
I guess.
Because I don't see Hope taking out Ty.
I think Hope would do it.
I don't know.
I think Hope would do it. Not as much as Jonathan would, but Hope, I feel like, is also possibly more likely to win competitions than Jonathan.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, there's pros and cons either way.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're trying to plan out what Jonathan should say when he talks to Shanaya. And
don't use the veto.
Well, basically, they want to like kind of wave the carrot in front of her and be like, "Hey, I want to work with you." Which, I mean, Shanaya does want to try and pull Jonathan in. So he's gonna be telling her what she wants to hear.
Do you think she should use it?
I mean, I'm conflicted.
For her game.
For her game, I would say probably, right? She's losing numbers if she doesn't.
Will she piss off too many people?
I don't know. This is a very pivotal moment in the game.
I mean, because, yes, Ty is delusional. Talking to Shanaya saying, don't use it because, you know, you're going to this, and this.
Which we'll get to.
Yeah. Is he crazy for telling her not to use it?
I think she should use it for her game.
Okay.
That's just my opinion. I don't know. It's a very layered, complex situation. But yeah, they're hoping that Shanaya is going to change her mind about using it if she knows that Jonathan would be the one going up on the block. All right. So then Shanaya, it's time for her to chat with Ty in the HOH room. So Ty is like, yeah, where's your head out right now? Like, what are you thinking with this veto? And Shanaya's like, I want to use the POV on Renee. I don't think that Renee would be safe against Hope with the vote. I don't want to lose another number. I just lost Dan. Also, she doesn't want to look like a jerk for having the chance to save a friend and not taking it. You know, right. She feels like she would look like an a-hole to everybody else in the house.
Wow.
So Shanaya says to Ty, I know that puts you in a tough spot, but like, this is what I want to do.
Shit.
So Ty starts out like, oh, I appreciate and respect your decision, you know, whatever you do. But here's why you should do what I want. He starts spinning his web here.
Yeah.
So he's saying, all right, people don't trust Renee. So if you're associated with Renee, you pull off this move to, you know, get her off the block. People are not going to trust you. You know, they're going to see that you're close to her. They're not going to want to work with you. So is it really worth it for you to save your friend? Yes.
Who you're going to be friends with outside of the house, regardless of what you do right now.
Right. He's saying you're thinking with your heart, but this is a game, you know? And if you pull Renee off that block, I'm going to have to go against you next week. Are
Good
you
luck.
threatening me?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he is threatening her big time.
Yeah.
So they cut away from that conversation.
He's pretty much threatening everybody right now.
He's threatening a lot of people. We're going to come back to that in a minute. But they switch back to the boys in the library, Jonathan, Daniel, and Hope. And Daniel says, if I win HOH next week, Ty is going. He's out of here. He is really ticked off with how the veto picks went. Because
he's ticked off about Santina getting the safety.
Well, that too, yeah.
Nobody chose anybody from the Crown.
Well, I guess Ty had house guest choice, And instead of picking somebody from the crown, which I don't know why he would, I guess like Kuzi or Daniel, I don't know.
Anika or Daniel,
Yeah.
they're kind of working with Ty.
Instead of
not
picking any of them, he picks Shanaya.
Yeah.
So Daniel's like, what the F? And he says, anything that I had going with Ty before is done. I want him out of here. So in order to do that, the guys agree they're going to need Santina next week because she is a strong competitor. She is very anti-Ty. So they feel like they can work with her at this point. Wow. They're finally waking up and not targeting Santina when Ty is still in the house.
Well, they can't.
I mean, next week.
Oh, next week. Yeah.
All right. So then back to Shanaya and Ty in the HOH. This is where things really go off the rails. I'm sorry, but Ty is terrible at this part of the game.
Yeah.
Ty starts telling Shanaya, think with your head. Renee is always going to be your friend outside of the house. She's not going to hold this against you if you don't use the veto on her. And if you force my hand, it's going to make things really rocky for you. Like, it's going to make my game rocky too, but I know what I have to do. Blah, blah, blah. So he says, if I have to target you, I have to target you moving forward. And if Claudia gets caught in the middle of that, it's part of the game. Oop.
He didn't go into what a jerk he's gonna look like for putting his showman.
I know, really, dude. Come on. That's insane. But then Ty starts getting really, I mean, he's reaching here.
Yeah.
He's like a cat in a motivational poster, like
hanging on, baby.
He's really reaching. So Ty brings out, like, it's going to be a slap in the face to Dan if you use the veto on Renee. And
what?
His logic here, everybody was thinking that Renee and Santina were working together last week, and Santina took out Dan as a secret HOH. Like, what? This is a stretch.
Yeah.
This is a stretch. So he's like, who's more important to you, Dan or Renee? What a weirdo.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm not following that logic here.
No,
I think that's ridiculous.
Me neither.
So he's like, I don't think it's worth it for your game to save Renee. He's also saying, I think, if Renee stays up on the block next to Hope, the votes could be there to save her anyway.
Really?
Nah, dude. He also does not know about the crown. So
right.
Anyway, Shanaya says she respects his perspective. She will consider it.
F you, I'm going to use the POV.
Yeah, and then Ty pulls out, stop letting people think for you. Think for yourself.
Stop letting people think for you. Let me think for you.
Yeah, the irony here. He's trying to sell her on what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, don't let other people think for you. And he's telling her, talk to the rest of the house, see what they say. All right, so after, Ty is telling Claudia about how the conversation went, and Claudia's like, it's going to be really hard for me, especially if the power of veto is used this week, because you're really making me choose between you and Shanaya.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I just threw up in my mouth.
Oh.
And that's not something that I want to do. So Claudia says that would really be like if I was forcing you to choose between me and Zach.
He already did.
Not really.
Kind of.
Not really. I mean, I think we all know who he would choose.
He would have chose Zach.
But he's like, oh, this isn't that exact situation. Like, she was not your day one, blah, blah, blah. So he's really deflecting here because he knows the answer is he would pick Zach for sure. So then...
Rose before hose. It's Big Brother rules.
Ty says, honestly, too, like, Shanae is the one putting you in that position to pick sides. It's her fault, not mine. Dude, come on. Come on now. Also, she's not picking your side.
If Shanae uses the veto, it's Claudia's fault.
I mean, that's what he's trying to make her feel like. So Shanae joins them and breaks up that terrible conversation.
Terrible.
Yeah. All right. So then to finish things up, we've got Kuzi and Santina chatting in the bathroom.
Loved it.
Yeah. Oh, I would love to see these two work together for real. They haven't solidified anything official.
But they do think alike.
They are thinking, they're on the same page right now. So, first of all, they're talking about how they don't know what Ty is doing at this point. He is moving really weirdly. And Santina says, I think me being safe this week really
threw him
for a loop because I was supposed to be his target. So now he's like, what? They both would prefer for nominations to stay the same this week because they really don't want Jonathan going up on the block.
Right.
I mean, we saw Jonathan really trying to vouch for Santina this past week. Actually, the last 2 weeks. And
they would both keep Hope, right?
No, they would both want to keep Jonathan, I thought.
No, I mean if Shanaya didn't win the veto. I mean if
You're
Shanaya
saying
didn't
if
use
it's
the
Hope
veto.
versus Renee. Yeah, I think they
Right.
would both get rid of Renee.
Right.
Yeah. But between Hope and Jonathan, I think they would both keep Jonathan, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for the super chat, Darren.
Darren, thank you
McDowell.
so much. We really appreciate
it.
that. Yes. So they feel like Ty is making a really weak move this week if his target truly is Renee. You know, they're not sure if he's going to try to go for some backdoor move or what.
This is some weak ass target.
It is. It really is. But they also see that Ty is trying to work with that trio of girls, Claudia, Renee, Shanaya.
Teen Girl Squad.
Yeah, and
He
Kuzi's
wants
like,
in.
yeah, Kuzi says, well, because he knows he can control them, or at least try to.
Try to, yeah.
So Kuzi says these girls are all saying they want to play their own game, but like, where is it? We haven't seen it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
This is gonna be. Is this gonna end up like Ex-Wives Club where they tie up Ty?
I don't know.
They take over.
I don't know, but they both allude to targeting Ty next week. They want him out of here, and they're hoping that he will not win that POV so that they can get the job done. They both want to make sure they leave a mark on this game. They don't want to like regret and not making moves. And
Kuzi was saying what she was saying when she was HOH, that, you know, if I go home after I make this big move,
at least you have
so
that.
be it.
Yeah.
You know, because I don't want to play a game that's a waste.
Yeah. So Santina also thanks Canada for voting for her to be safe this week.
You're welcome.
Yay!
America voted too.
Yeah. And that was pretty much it. So now the big question is, what's going to happen with this POV? Is Shanaya going to use it?
Yes, of course.
I think she will too.
Yeah.
Who will Ty put up in Renee's place?
I really don't think he's going to put up Claudia unless she gets nasty, because that is in his mind kind of still a number for him. So I think it might be Jonathan.
He seems to be under the impression that Jonathan doesn't really like have anybody in the game besides Hope. So he might see that as, you know, somebody he can easily get out and not get that much, you know, not create that many waves, but like he'd be creating a lot of waves unknowingly. So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen.
Jonathan would probably go from 0 to hero next week, and his main objective would be to take out Ty.
For sure. So the POV ceremony, POV ceremony should be done in real time right now, but we'll find out tomorrow what happens. So, let us know your thoughts on all of this in the comments. We will be back tomorrow for more.
Oh, and another super chat. Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you so much.
You so much. We appreciate that.
We really do.
On this Easter Monday.
So we'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks again for watching. And until next time, much love. Bye.
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 Thanks again, guys.
Good night. Bye. Bye.